If you're in Nigeria and you want to become a millionaire, there are 4 key things you must think about before you start any business. You have to evaluate every business you want to do based on these 4 criteria. Number 1, ask yourself, if Jesus were here, what kind of businessman do you think he would be? What kind of business do you think Jesus would involve himself with? I think if Jesus were here with us, he would have these 4 criteria looked at and checked out in any business he was going to be part of. And number 1 is a business that has purpose. Number 2, a business that involves systems, a business that has relationships, and of course, a business that has mentorship. Now, let me quickly go through it. Now, if a business has purpose is like every business has 2 eyes. You have 2 eyes, but you have only one sight. You have 2 nostrils, but you only have one sense of smell. If you're doing a business, that business must glorify God. That business must be a business that is going to be there to bring profit. So profit and then serving people and serving God. Do you understand? A business that pleases God. For instance, we realize that in the Bible, I think in Luke chapter 5 verse 5, somewhere around that, Jesus needed to preach to people. And guess what? There were 2 boats and he entered one. And incidentally, it was Simon Peter's boat. So he said, okay, could you row into the sea so that I'll be able to talk to these people? And that was exactly what Simon Peter did. When Jesus was done talking to them, he said, have you caught any fishes? Peter said, oh, we've toiled all night and we've not caught anything. He said, all right, launch into the deep. And Peter launched his nets into the deep. In fact, Jesus was very specific. He said, launch your nets. In KJV, that is King James Version, he says, launch your nets into the deep. I'm sure Peter was very, flabbergasted by that statement. Or should I say, Peter was very skeptical about that statement. Probably has a PhD in fishing. And he looked at it, Jesus asking me to launch my net into the deep. I've toiled all night. The best times to fish, probably in the night, and we've done it and we did not catch anything. Anyway, reluctantly, Peter launched the net. But fishermen are known to be very painstaking. They are very careful people. They mend their nets when they are not fishing. So usually we find that their nets are in good shape. But I believe Peter launched the bad net, the net that has not been in use. Launched it. Let it not be that you told me to do this and then I decided not to do it. Let me just launch a bad net. And he did. And there was so much fish that they could not carry it and the net started breaking. That was Peter not believing in Jesus. But what he did not realize was that he has aligned his business to the purpose of God. Not just is he looking for profit through his business, he also aligned it to, go in consonant with the gospel, with God's purpose. And so your business must align itself with the purpose of God as you pursue profit. I'm talking to Christian, born-again believers, Christian men and women. Your business, ask yourself, well, what am I doing for my business to be able to align itself with God? I have to find a way to align my business with the things of God, with the purpose of God, while pursuing my profit. That way you will have an amazing chance of a divine blessing on your business. Number 2, you need a business that has systems. What are systems? Systems are ways through which things are done. For instance, we hear in the Bible where a man was on his way to a distant land, and guess what? He brought monies, sent 5 talents to one of the servants, he gave 2 to the other one, and gave 1 to the third. And said, I'm going out. When I come back, you guys, do business with this money, and you give me account when I come. When he returned back, the guy he gave the 5 talents produced 5 talents. So congratulations, well done, good and faithful servant. The second one brought 2 extra, and he said, awesome, congratulations, well done, you did well. And now to the third person, the guy went and hid his talent and said, hey, this $1 you gave me, look at it, everything is still there, the same number, the same signature. I am afraid of you. I was afraid of you, and I decided to go hide this talent. Why? Because you're a man who sow where you did not, who want to reap where you did not sow. Knowing who you are, I decided to hide it. And when he looked at the servant, he said, you wicked servant, you at least should have gone to the bank to deposit this money so that at least it should bring me something. You know me so well. The master, in this case God, did not deny the fact that this guy knows him, did not deny the fact that he was someone who liked to profit. He said, you've been with me the longest. You already know the kind of business I would involve myself in. A business that has a system, a business that you can plant, you plug and play, and the business produces and produces, and you did not do it. I gave you 1 talent because that was all you needed to be able to produce massive results. Much more than the person I gave the 5 talent and the person I gave the 2 talent. But you disappointed me. Another place we see systems. We see systems play out where God, during creation. Imagine God were to create trees again. It was said in the Bible that God finished his creation in 6 days and he rested on the 7th day. Now, imagine God wants to eat mango. Mango is a fruit in Africa. He wants to eat mango. Would God go back and recreate a mango tree? That's the question. I don't think he would do that, because already God created a mango tree and gave it the ability to bear fruits. So if we want to, plant more trees, we just take the fruit of the mango or fruit of anything and we plant it. And we keep planting until we have the fruits everywhere and we'll continue to enjoy the fruits. Imagine God desires that we have more people on earth. Do you think God will go back and mold humans again the way he did for Adam? No. There will be scarcity of sand. And what did he do? He brought the man and the woman. He created a system so that if we want more children, the man meets with his wife and more children are born. That is the God of systems. All right. Now your business must have purpose, meaning that it must align with business and profiting and also with the purpose of God. Number 2, it must have a system, something that can keep working. All right. And number 3, there has to be relationship. Now, I think in John chapter 5 or so, Jesus met the Samaritan woman by the well. And after they had a discussion, the woman went to the village and said, "Come and see the man that told me everything I've ever done." Word of mouth advertising. If you were to do the God's kind of business, if Jesus were here, the kind of business he would involve himself with would be a business that involves relationships, where you talk to people, the people you already know, you share ideas with them, you share products with them, you give them samples. Take a look at this. I used it. Because right now, if you want to buy anything, you are not going there to buy. You first of all go through the reviews and then you ask around who has bought so and so. I want to buy this and that. Who has bought? Where is the right place to go? I need whatever it is you want to buy. I want to buy a car. Who has a good plug? We're always looking for plugs. Why? Because it's relationship. That is how it works. And finally, mentorship. God's kind of business must have mentorship. A situation where somebody has to learn under someone. And that is just what it is. So the question is, do you think a beggar is a success? The beggars you see on the street, do you think they're a success? How do you even measure success? You measure success by certain definition. Someone goes out on the day and says, "Today I want to make 1,000 naira." And if they set out and they actually make 1,000 naira, they are successful. A beggar comes out, shows you his bad hand, and does not stay on traffic. They stay in a place where there's a traffic jam or a place where there's a traffic light, because you must stop at the traffic light. Do you understand? When they get there, they show you their bad hand. And when you see the bad hand, you want to give them money or something, they bring out their good hand and they pick it up. That is business strategy. They go home, they do their bookkeeping, and the beggar just discovered that they made more money. And tomorrow they continue. So a beggar is a success. The question is, do you think Elon Musk is a success? Most of you will say yes. Do you think Dangote is a success? You say yes. The only difference between a beggar, Dangote, and Elon Musk is that these other two guys, they are doing things at a larger scale. A beggar just wants to make his however amount of money he wants to make. He makes it, and next day you see him. And some beggars have been in a particular spot for years, for decades. So God's kind of business must have, number 1, purpose. It must align with God's purpose. Number 2, it must have a system. Number 3, it must also have relationship, where it deals with people based on relationships. And finally, there has to be mentorship. Mentorship is where you show someone what to do, and over time they become so good that they do not need you anymore. So these are the 4 things you look at in the business. As I'm saying all of these things, certain kind of businesses are beginning to come to your mind. Think about it. All right, and make sure you pray through these things and take a step, especially now in 2025. God wants Christians, God wants believers to be wealthy, to be, in charge, to be able to succeed. Look at it and prayerfully go through it.